Now I know what everybody's here for.
What are they here for?
Going live! No, that's not what they're
Pretty exciting. We've never done one this early, but it's a whole time change. We are a Canada-wide show,
Correct.
Nationwide, worldwide show.
Worldwide headquarters right here.
You made it. It's we're basically talking about the Opimian Society's Gaelic whiskey pick.
Yes.
So we got an awesome guest here to tell us more about it. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Please do.
So hello everyone. I'm Joao. I work for Opimian, and that's a beautiful sound.
That's our favorite.
Yeah, definitely. So I work for the Opimian Wine Club, a club that's been around for 48 years now. It's a very old club, Canada-wide. We're coast to coast. We're from PEI to BC and all the way to Northwest Territories. So we have members all over. And myself, I've been in the alcohol industry for about 20 years. I've worked for Diageo. I've worked for I've worked for Pernod Ricard. I'm a trained sommelier. I'm certified in whiskey. I'm a certified whiskey ambassador. And I did a distillation course, because I'm obsessed with whiskey. If you hadn't figured out at that point,
you're saying a lot of really good things.
All things you like.
There's a good reason, It's like, as you go along, you just start rolling into it, and it becomes a passion and an obsession, and I love it. So,
of course.
So me, that's more or less my background. Like how I got started in whiskey is actually through seeing my grandfather and father when I was very young. They would drink whiskey to celebrate big events. Since then, I think we just celebrate whiskey every day. I think it's the best thing to do.
Yep.
And a very good friend of mine, actually, his name is Brandon, and he's one of those that actually, one of my really good friends that got me into whiskey even more seriously. And since then, it just snowballed and got bigger and bigger and bigger.
As it tends to do. Yeah. Yep. We've all fallen into that trap at this point.
Yep. It happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking behind you at this point, and I'm saying, okay, you're snowballed pretty fast too.
Yep. Yep. This is a full-on avalanche at this point. Yep. And
it's very Canadian to say that too.
Yeah. One of our friends, Clayton, just popped in, and he says, Canada-wide, you say. So we're hoping to maybe bring the Opimian Society a little bit closer to the whiskey drinkers, because there's whiskey that you can get as well. It's not just wine. So that's why I'm now a member. I like to buy whiskey.
Do you?
I do like to buy whiskey.
1 or 2 bottles a week?
Yeah, every now and then I'll buy a whiskey. So hopefully we can branch out a little bit, and, especially yourself being so approachable, it's a super fun way to maybe bridge the gap for a couple people. So, yeah, 21-year-old we have today. We were talking about it a little while ago.
A couple weeks back.
Yeah, and you can get this from the Opimian Society, but can you tell us exactly how that happens? It gets released. You have to purchase at a certain time. Can you go through that a little bit?
Perfect. So I'll just start off by saying the Opimian Wine Club has been around for 48 years. It's a really old club, and I mentioned that before, that we have 10,000 members across Canada. It's a club that actually started because there was no choices at the liquor boards. Not enough choice, not good choice of alcohol at the liquor board. So that's the history behind it. And since then, it grew. And how it works is that we separate the year into 9 cellars. And those 9 cellars regroup different regions, different countries, and in this case, also like whiskeys and spirits. And those cellars are separated by a 5-week gap between them. So every cellar lasts 5 weeks, and there's 9 in the year. And we have a bonus one at the end of the year, the 10th month.
Okay.
We call. And members to be able to purchase the wine and to order it, or whiskey, you have to be a member. So this doesn't cost too much. It's actually $69 plus tax.
Yeah, super affordable.
For the year or for the month?
For the year.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Right? Yeah. It's very affordable.
Yeah, it's definitely not, to be a member, it's not that expensive. And it's very easy, simple process. Opimian.ca, join the club, very, very simple. And I think in other shows you've had hashtags appear on top of you, so that's what I'm guessing is going to appear soon.
We can do that.
Oh yeah, we can
I love
always
those. So.
throw up a little hashtag, right? So that's exciting. People are always worried about the cost of some of these clubs. We have numerous whiskey clubs that we can be a part of, and the Opimian Society. Full disclosure to everybody: there's an admin fee that you pay once, and that's to sign up, and then it's $69 a year. And if I can sign up and figure it out, anybody can figure it out. So yeah, we're excited. And what about the whiskey? Is there anything that you know about the whiskey? Is this whiskey like released every cellar release?
No. So as I was mentioning before, cellars, how they do, like how we work with the cellars, every single cellar is a different region. And I actually pulled up the one that we have right now. This is the Alberta version.
Okay.
And this one features the whiskey. So we sell them by cases, and this one is actually going to feature the whiskey that we're actually tasting today. So the 12-year-old, in the case, the 21-year-old.
Yep.
And so members are able to order this, but we do have other spirits, and we have another whiskey coming up in about 2 cellars that is actually from France. That is going to be very exciting too. So we don't just feature scotches or whiskey from the traditional countries. We also have whiskey from France. It is very hard to find, must I say.
Yeah.
So,
we also have some whiskey from France.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I like French whiskey, what I've tasted. And, what's exciting to me as a whiskey lover, I gravitate more towards Scotch, but I'm a whiskey lover. So seeing that you folks are branching out into French whiskey, to me, I'm like, man, I'd love to grab that. Like when it's released in a cellar, that's something I would grab. Why wouldn't I?
One of my top 10 whiskeys of all time is from Italy.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying new stuff.
I think there's an Italian whiskey that won, maybe not whiskey of the year, but wasn't the contender for whiskey of the year. Wasn't that it? A couple years ago?
I'm talking about the Puni distillery.
Oh, he loves Puni.
Yeah, the Puni Alba.
Loves it.
Yes. That's
I was so impressed with this one. My boss gave me one years ago. I drank it at his house. I loved it so much. He said, "You know what? Why don't you take a bottle home with you?" He's a member, and he's like, "I bought a case of 6, so why don't you take one home?" I was like, "Why don't I take one home?" So I kept it in my bunker for years, and then my friend Sean was moseying through the liquor stores, and he found an accidental couple bottles of this. So between us, we grabbed all of them. So I'm super excited because I got a sentimental, weird little attachment to this bottle, and it's absolutely delicious and soft and just a touch of smoke. So like knowing that this branch now is happening where it's not just Scotch, you can start to explore whiskey a little bit for $69 a year. I mean, it's exciting.
And
this was such an amazing price point just for this bottle too.
This was a great price.
You're gonna be hard pressed to find any 21-year-old at that price that's better.
Yes.
Who picked this? Like, how did the choosing process go to get this particular juice?
Yeah, so I'll add this little point is that we work with very small producers. Specifically, this line here, we're talking about 50 to 200 cases a year. Sometimes goes up a little bit higher depending on the demand. But we're not talking about humongous amounts of quantities that are available. And this is pretty much what you'll find through the Opimian Wine Club. We tend to work with very small producers, so everything is very, very limited quantities in general. And who gets to taste it? We actually have a master of wine that tastes every single product, and she really likes whiskeys as well.
Good.
So she has a good palate. So everything is tasted. It's specifically tasted by a master of wine, and if it doesn't make the cut, it doesn't make the cut. But these, well, they're consistent. They make the cut.
Okay.
She did a good job with this one, that's for sure.
She done a damn fine job with this. I just love this blend so much. I'm a blended whiskey junkie anyway. I mean, most of what I have is single malt, but only by a short margin because I love blends, and this is a consistent, great blend, and I fell in love with it. And now knowing that you can just grab it if you're a member, is excellent. But if you're not a member, too bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to be a member to be able to purchase.
So this is the thing about what the Opimian does. You can only find their picks if you're a member, correct?
Exactly.
It's just a freak chance in Alberta. It's a little bit different. There's weird stuff here that slips in all the time. So that's what happened here. It slipped in. It stayed on their shelf for years until we went in and grabbed it all. So it's a members only thing, and that's cool too.
Yep.
They even say Gaelic on the bottle.
Well, yeah, I was actually.
Right?
I heard Ty talk about it a little bit, and I do have a little bit of information in terms of the Gaelic. So
we would love to hear everything.
Yeah, I'll go into details. So
please do.
This is produced by Prabanalin, and that's from the best that I can actually figure out. It's how it's pronounced. There's no, going up and high in vowels. So it's Prabanalin, and Prabanalin means the little smuggler. And going back in history, because I'm a huge history buff, back in the 18th, 17th century, when they would produce whiskey, it was technically illegal, so they would actually smuggle it, and they were called the little smugglers because they sometimes would crouch, or there's different things like that, and they would use as techniques. But it's kind of like an illegal thing that actually got through to us.
Yes.
So
tell us more.
And the name Culnagragan, that's my best Gaelic right there.
That was good.
It means behind the rocks, and you were talking about the Isle of Skye. This is from the Isle of Skye. The Isle of Skye is a pretty big island, but in the middle of that island, there's this mountain range, and it basically is the other side of that. So behind the rocks probably comes from that. I'd have to do a little bit more research, but that would be more or less what I would get. And this is actually, this distillery is in a peninsula at the southern tip of that island. And it's the tip of that island was the one that was the easiest to produce. I was going to say whiskey, but wheat or crops. So they actually have that tradition going for a long, long time. This line actually started in 1976. I should say the distillery started in 1976 by Sir Ian Noble. See, I'm a very big history buff, so I'm throwing all that stuff at you guys, all the goodies. So Sir Ian Noble was a gentleman, that businessman, I should say as well, that he was obsessed with the Gaelic language, and this is one of the things that he actually started to push it through. What better way to discover language than through whiskey? I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful to me. And throughout the years, we got connected to them. Opimian got connected to Prabanalin, and eventually what happened is that he created a line just for us. And you probably have heard of this distillery because they produce the Chickvik.
Yes. The tea bag.
The tea bag.
Right?
The tea bag.
Yep. It's a beautiful, luscious, soft blend. I had one here. Mustache guzzled it up. So
mustache guzzled it up.
It's a lovely little blend. I think anyone who was trying to drink some decent blends on a budget would probably reach for that one. And it looks like it's tea bag, but it's Chebek.
Exactly. Quebec. So you can pretty much find it, if I understand correctly, across Canada. We have. I'm in Quebec, by the way, so we're.
And Isle of Skye. A lot of people are probably familiar with Talisker, right?
Which is a little bit more north, so it's the other side of the rocks.
Very cool. That's very, very cool. I love that.
Yeah. Good to know.
And so now going to the technical. Sherry cask, 43%. To the best of my knowledge, this is no coloration, no added coloration to it. So the color really comes from the cask. And we
were thinking that because it says non-chill filtered on there, so we're thinking likely it's natural color. I mean, it's beautifully dark at 21 years old, nice kind of reddish hue. Yeah, cherry cask.
Mine is a little bit more golden because obviously it's younger. But and the whiskeys that actually go in there, so it's a bit of a secret. Even we don't know 100%, but I can tell you there's whiskeys from Islay and there's whiskeys from Speyside.
Cool.
Those are the two main ones that actually go in there. So that's why you have a little hint of smoke, but you also have that sweet spiciness that goes in as well.
Very interesting. We were kind of thinking that it was a secret. Most of these things are. And just because we don't know doesn't mean it doesn't taste good, because it's delicious.
It's great.
So what everybody is always dying to know is if there's Talisker in it, because people associate Isle of Skye with Talisker. So the official answer is not sure.
I'm not sure enough. I
Yep.
really
Can't say yes or no. We just don't know.
I'm gonna go on a whim based on what I discovered from the distillery. You know, Sir Ewan Noble was very strong on the idea of working with Gaelic mentality, and Talisker does have a bit, but I don't think it's the most Gaelic distillery. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think based on that, they are going to go towards other distilleries.
I heard as well, strictly through nonsensical drunken conversations, that there's likely no Talisker in this bottle.
Oh, well then.
Yep. Very
Well, you
interesting.
know, there's only one way to find out, right?
We'll have to go there.
We'll have to go there and ask everyone until they tell us, or ask us to leave.
Exactly.
Hashtag whiskey heathens.
So
Mm.
you guys are tasting the 21-year-old. I'm tasting its a little bit younger brother, and I absolutely have fallen in love with this. I opened it last week, and I had a lasagna before that. So I was eating lasagna before drinking this, and lasagna's on the heavier side. It's richer.
Yeah.
This cut through it was the perfect.
Is that right? Good digestion.
I loved it because of that. Because it had that little bit of freshness in it. I loved it. It just opened up completely. I went to bed. I slept like a baby because there was nothing heavy on my stomach. It was just gorgeous.
Just satisfied and smiling, sleeping with a full smile.
Exactly. It was just like, oh, I'm getting a hug from a whiskey. It's awesome.
Yeah, and as a member of the Opimian Club, there's a 100% chance that I'm going to grab that 12-year-old.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I'm likely going to grab every whiskey that I can from them because I cannot purchase it anywhere else.
So we're going to get a French whiskey.
We're going to get whatever we can. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We're going to try to throw in some surprises and curveballs along the way. But yeah, definitely. This is one that has been with us for a long time, and we're just as excited to have it today as we were back then.
Well, I drank it first in 2016, and I'm just as excited now drinking it as I was back then. And, I've as many of us have, drank hundreds, into the thousands of whiskeys. And since then...
Just a few thousand.
Yeah. Since then, I'm still back to this one, still loving it. Still consistently holds up. It's delicious. I'm not 100% sure of when these were released, what year or anything. There's codes on the back. I have no idea how to read them or anything, but
that's a good question.
We're assuming that it's a consistent blend that they try to keep consistent. Is that correct?
It is.
So that it tastes the same or similar every year, and people know what they're getting and know what to expect.
Pretty much. You still have an artisanal aspect to it because, there's a master blender that goes in.
Cool.
And he's blending to get as close as possible as the previous years. But, obviously there's a slight artisanal aspect that goes into it. And I always love to think that there's other aspects that influence it, not just the master blender. I mean, what was the temperature that was when they produced it, et cetera, and the type of crop that came up that year. So I think
everything matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And these subtle differences between 2016, 2020, 2028, whatever the case is, we like trying to find those subtle differences. Mm-hmm. And when we can't, that says something about the blender too. Imagine that level of craft and skill to consistently put out what is essentially a new product aged in similar ways every time.
We took a blending class and there was a test at the end. I think we came in third or second out of everybody, but blending, not my forte, but that's a skill all in itself.
It is a skill. Man.
I fully agree with you. I tried to do the same thing. It's not easy. It's not easy. You have to have the nose, you have to have the sight, for it. It's really, really hard. But what I prefer to do is actually taste. I just grab different whiskeys and I love to taste. And
Absolutely.
You know what? I don't have a Talisker here, but eventually I'd love to do the taste test to see the two of them together.
It's the only Talisker that I have that I bought yesterday.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So usually a Talisker comes in and
Disappears.
yeah, a week later it's gone, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, we're talking Isle of Skye, so we'd like to go live. We're gonna smoke a cigar and stuff later. So I had to go pick up a Talisker.
Yeah. But the Talisker being a little bit more salty, this is what I find interesting, because the Talisker is a little bit more north and more open to the sea. This one's more protected on the south part of the island. So, the salty aspect, you're not getting it. At least I don't have it with the 12. I don't know about the 21, but
No,
I'm not getting it.
I agree.
Yeah, there's no real brine or anything like that.
No, nothing of the sort. It's just I wouldn't even call it a clean whiskey. It's kind of got, the 21 has like a leathery, tobacco-y note. It's just gorgeous.
I got a floaty.
Oh, you
I'm
lucky
lucky.
bastard. Yeah. We like to see little floaties, like little pieces of cask and little pieces of nonsense. That's the best.
Perfect. Well, I'll add one little thing, because I forgot to say this before.
Please do.
Because we're a Canada-wide club, we have different prices because it's different provinces.
Of course.
So you guys have the best deal when it comes to prices of whiskey. And the second one, and I know, Ty, you're from Ontario, is Ontario, actually. Usually the prices in Ontario are very similar. It's a very similar nothing, but they're very good prices compared to the rest of Canada. So, keep in mind, members sign up, prices are different depending on where you are. So you said that the 21-year-old, I think you mentioned it on another one. Did you mention the price?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it was $103.
I will mention it again. It's $103.
Worth
I'll
it.
mention the price in Quebec. It's $200.
Oh, gross. Might still be worth it.
I think I would still
actually.
buy a bottle if Quebec was the only place that I could get it. I would get it, man.
That being said, the prices in Quebec are all like everything.
Yeah.
This one is 200. Like, if you compare the prices, they're all like the balance out. So a 21-year-old of other whiskeys can be quite expensive in Quebec.
I would agree with that. This is I just love the little touch of leather on this whiskey. I do.
Okay.
A little
I can't get over it. I love it.
See, mine's a little bit honey, just a little bit on the fresh side.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that one a try for sure.
A little bit lighter, and then I'm expecting it to be much lighter than the one you're tasting. Like, you probably have like a more present nose. Mine is a little bit on the lighter side, a little bit of citrus, and a little hint of smoke, and just that little bit of spice when it goes into the mouth.
That touch of smoke does it.
Yeah, and it's like a wisp.
Yep. And then it's got this sweet finish right in the back. Man.
So now you're gonna have to get the other two. The Amleric and
Yep.
oh boy, I'm gonna try to pronounce this one. And Lemrig and the Clonacraig.
Yep. So I'm very, very, very curious about those as well. The only Lemrig that I ever know of was Bowmore and stuff like that.
Yeah, it
So
seems
I'm
like
not
it's
sure.
you're right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I do know I very much would like to taste it. And I will. There's a 100% chance.
I think I'm gonna have to do some research to see what the name actually means. But you're right. It's a more of a common name.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think it was attached to a Bowmore. It just escapes me right now. But
Possibly. Yeah, now you're intriguing me.
So
I'm gonna have to do some research.
That cellar comes out how often? Monthly?
So we're talking about every 5 weeks, and
Okay.
like every single province gets their own version because of the prices. And so right now we're on the cellar 283. So if you're looking at the bottom of the bottle, you'll probably see C245 or C237, stuff like that.
272.
272. So that's last year's actually.
cool.
Right now we're at 283, and next one is 284. So that's how we number our cellars. And these come out every 5 weeks.
Can you reach it? I
You're looking for an older version?
back label. I can see it. We've got one bottle that doesn't have a back label at all.
That's this one.
Oh, I think those are the older ones.
Yeah, this says
Yeah.
C238.
238. Okay.
Mine is the same thing.
238?
Well,
Oh,
actually, mine is 245.
oh, really? So that's still fair a while ago.
Ah, so you're aging yours. Beautiful.
I have another here.
I would tell you that the drinking window is between now and when you finish it, but
There's another one here. I think it's downstairs. I'll be interested. Now that I know what that means, I'll be hunting out a couple more, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, some different batches, see if I can get some variations.
Maybe we'll end up doing a whole flight in different.
It's for science.
Yeah.
for science.
All in the name of
We
science.
are scientists.
We're just doing the Lord's work here by drinking
That's
whiskey.
right.
Lord's work.
More
I'll add one
dangerous.
more little-
So, like, does that count?
Yeah,
That counts, right?
This is ritualistic at this point.
Oh, there you go. I'll add one more little thing. You were talking about like the numbers after the C. You have 8, 9, or 9 something, or 1, 2, or
1675.
so that's the lot number, and that's how we differentiate the different products in our catalog. So if you look at this one, there you go. That's a good view. That's a very good view. Yeah. So if you look at the catalog, you're gonna see. I don't know if you see well, but like 244, 2444,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
that's the different ones. By the way, our catalog is also found online, PDF. That you don't have to be a member to be able to see it, but you do have to be a member to be able to order it. And
I see what you did there.
Yeah, a little tease.
You just dangle it in front of everybody.
like a crack dealer. First hit's free. I see what's up.
there you go. Last little number that is on the bottle is the year. So 17, 20.
20, yeah. Very cool.
That's 2020.
Very cool.
So that's the year.
The year of the seller. I believe it's also the year that it was produced.
Oh,
If I
awesome.
remember correctly, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yep. So this is last year's bottle. Pandemic bottle. Best thing to come out of the pandemic.
You know what? You might be right, actually.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now we're gonna have to see if we can make your top. We make your whiskey of the year.
Oh, buddy. We do name a blended whiskey of the
I'm
year.
just kidding.
We
I saw you.
we don't name just single malt. We do a distillery release. We do a independent bottler, a peated, a blended.
Yeah, because I
And
saw your
bourbon
video.
Canadian, kind of.
Yeah, bourbon Canadian as well.
I saw your video, and okay, you're making me my mouth water. You know,
That's
like,
the
we're getting all
plan,
these
man.
beautiful bottles, and some of them we don't have access to them in Quebec, so or even Ontario. I haven't seen them in Ontario. I think you mentioned that the last one that you were doing the tasting of, you could find it in Ontario. One of the 2 bottles of one of the 2 whiskeys of the year. I think Ty, you mentioned that you could find it in Ontario.
right?
That was an
The
Ontario
organic
only.
Oloroso. No, that
Yeah,
was
that's
everywhere. It was still available in Ontario. We had checked the
No,
website.
we couldn't get it here. I had all mine from Ontario.
Oh, did we? Okay,
Yeah.
well, never mind then.
All mine. All 8 of mine. I gotta be honest, I did really enjoy that a lot.
There's a reason it made it our whiskey.
Yeah.
of the year.
Are there
But
any
that
left?
What's
Are there any
that?
left? Are there any left?
I think I have 2 left downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, guzzled the rest. And I don't think there's any left to purchase right now either.
I haven't checked the LCBO website lately. I'll give it a quick little peekaboo right now and we'll find out.
I'd be surprised.
I got their app, so I use it as a barometer for prices as well. Like when someone asks, what's the general price? I just check the LCBO because it's consistent.
Okay, I see.
Man,
that's a good idea.
I just get lost in this one. It's got such pleasant memories for me too. Like, but everyone that's I've poured this for really enjoyed it as well. So, man, I'm just happy to know that I can just grab it when it comes out now, and I don't have because I wasn't a member for a while. I'm a fairly recent member.
Yes.
And it was because of this, because I started actually doing some digging, and I thought this Colnacragan was a one-time release back when my boss actually poured it for us.
Okay.
I realized it wasn't. I was like, oh, okay, now it's attainable. And then Sean find them on the shelf, so yeah, it just renewed my love for it.
Whereabouts
I
did you
need to
find them?
restock
Like,
mine.
was it in
dinner?
Was it in Edmonton? Was it in Fort
Yep.
Mac?
Yep, it
In
was in
Edmonton.
Edmonton. Dusty shelf.
Edmonton seems like it's a vault of beautiful whiskeys.
Unbelievable. It's unreal. And we still go there and we'll find like these weird, dusty old bottles.
Yeah, we're very lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
Like it gets released, it sits in the store, and people skip over it. Like I don't know what that is. I'll go with something I know, and that's how we're able to find some great stuff. I did find that Dean is still available in Ontario at one location in Toronto at Bayview and Millwoods.
Wow.
Something tells me it's going to be gone very soon.
There's one bottle left, according to their website. Yeah.
I have buddies of mine that would be willing to drive to Toronto just to get that bottle.
I was just thinking, how far is that from my bro Luke? Might need to scoop up that last one.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if you have any more questions for me. This was so much fun. I miss talking about whiskey, and what a great way to do it with this one. I don't know if you've got all the answers that you wanted. Like I love talking about in geography. So
cool. I really enjoyed that. And for those of you watching, I sent a list of questions, and you delivered what you could. Even when I sent it, I was like, hey, some of this is likely a closely guarded secret, and I understand, but anything you can tell us, we'd like to know, right? So, yeah, I think that was satisfying, and I hope to do it again, and I would confidently say we will do it again because I'm going to start grabbing some of the other weirdos out.
Yeah, maybe when that French one gets out here, we'll have you back on.
Yeah, that was another tease, by the way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I dropped that one off just slowly, softly, see what would happen.
Next time we'll have a little more time, so we'll get you what we're tasting, like the Sniper Trail, will get to you so we can talk about it together and taste it together. We both have the Cole McCracken. It's just different years, and that's fine.
You can send me your bottle. I'll send you mine. It's fine.
You sure?
Don't worry, I'll bring it down and then I'll send it.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. And
that was my pleasure.
Stay tuned. We'll be dropping reviews on the other stuff when it comes out.
Absolutely.
And then we'll be doing our live, very similar to what we're doing.
In the meantime, you guys can go to opimian.ca, check out what they got going on the website. They also have their own YouTube channel. There's an Instagram. It's all Opimian, and you can get more information on the stuff that we didn't cover. And you can find out more once we get new releases.
Absolutely. You can check out my story on Instagram as well. I put a whole bunch of different links up there. Links to us, links to the Opimian. I don't know what I'm doing. Just throwing links everywhere.
So thanks again for joining us. Thanks to everybody that popped in. And hopefully we got the answers to your questions. And we'll be going live again later tonight at 7:30 our time, Mountain Standard Time, for regular Sunday Night Live. So thanks again.
Pleasure. Thanks so much, guys.
We'll catch you later. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.